tell you I won, but I have no words. I'll put these scars under my skin.
What's up guys? Today, I've got an early game Lightning Ranger build that lets you speedrun the game. I use this build live on my Twitch to clear Acts 1 through 3 normal and Act 1 cruel. Before we get into the build, I want to let you guys know about my 1K subscriber giveaway. I'm going to be giving away gift cards to selected winners who comment under the pinned comment on any of my videos. I'll be selecting the winner once I hit 1K subs on YouTube. If I reply to your comment with "you won," then I'll let you pick a gift card of an undecided amount of your choice. I'll be doing the giveaway live on my Twitch at FGCorbin21, and with that, let's get into the video. So this is the Lightning Ranger I've been using to speedrun through the game. It uses Lightning Arrow combined with Lightning Rod to clear groups of adds and melt bosses. This is thanks to the chain shock effect of Lightning Rod combined with Barrage and Lightning Arrow. I'll go ahead and get into the skill gems and support gems we're using. So Lightning Arrow is going to be the main attack that we're using on the build. Whenever you hit walls or enemies, it's going to chain lightning to nearby enemies. We're going to run Martial Tempo for more attack speed. Pierce, that way we can shoot through targets to pierce behind them. Innervate, so that way whenever we kill a shocked enemy, we get 35% more damage with all of our attacks. Lightning Rod is what we're going to be using to clear large groups of adds and also melt bosses. You shoot these and it leaves rods of lightning in the ground, which they can be procced with Lightning Arrow to cause giant explosions. We're going to be using Magnified Effect for more explosion area. We're going to be using Scatter Shot, that way you can get more of these rods on the ground quicker. Conduction, so we're shocking more often. And Overcharge, that way the shocks that we do inflict are increased. Barrage is what we use for the high burst DPS on bossing. This is going to let you shoot off a volley of extra arrows of any attack that you choose. I use Premeditation, that way we get a 15% damage boost, and Ingenuity, that way this has a faster cooldown. Herald of Thunder is what we're comboing with this to help our ad clear. We have Concentrated Effect, that way it's doing more damage to enemies that it does hit. And Lightning Infusion for some extra bonus damage. Full Take Mark is helping us shock and also create large explosions on enemies that we do mark. We're going to be running Inevitable Crit, that way we can have the high crit chance. And Coursing Current, that way we have an extra shot going on. So for defenses, we're going to be using Ghost Shroud. Whenever you do get hit, it will consume a Ghost Shroud and recover Energy Shield equal to 5% of our evasion. I run Clarity for 30% more mana regen. Wind Dancer, we use this to get some bonus evasion. I also have Pin, Maim, and Blind. That way whenever we do get hit, it'll go off and it'll slow down those enemies that are on top of us. I also run Electrocuting Arrow. This is kind of a pocket item. Whenever you're fighting a big boss or a rare enemy, you can pop this to shoot this arrow in them, and it will cause electrocution buildup, which will stun the enemy. It's something that you can use if you want to use it. It's not necessary for the build, though. So let's get into the gear that we're using. So there's a ton of uniques that I have down here in my inventory. They're not necessary for the build, but I like to use them to increase the effectiveness. So for your bow, you're going to be running a dual string bow. If you don't have a dual string, use whatever bow that you can find until then, but once you hit the right level, get a dual string bow. Go for high physical, added lightning damage, and level projectile skills to increase your damage. You could also run a Widow Hail. Widow Hail is going to be increasing the effectiveness of your quiver. That way you can get huge bonus damage. As you see right here on my lightning arrow, I currently have 6,300 with it equipped. Whenever I switch off, I have 3,300. So if you can sustain the mana, use this. If not, just use a dual string. For the quiver, I recommend that you go with increased level projectile skills, increased damage of bow skills, added lightning damage, crit hit chance, crit damage bonuses, life per enemy killed, and mana per enemy killed. Anything you can get here is nice, but if you're running Widow Hail, just remember that you're getting tons of increased effect from your quiver. For gauntlets, we're going to want to go with added lightning damage and maybe either life or mana on kill. There's also two uniques that I like to use. You could either go with Kotoko's Current if you want to have some electrocution build up. The only thing that put me off from this was the reduced attack speed, but I'm sure there's some builds that you can make with this. And once you hit the right level, I've started using Hands of Wisdom in action. They're very effective at increasing your DPS. You can see that right now we're at 8,500 DPS. So if you have them laying around, you can use them for some nice damage. If not, it's fine. You'll be fine without them. For your chest piece, I recommend in the early game to go with Fox Shade, as this will double your evasion rating when on full life and also give you a 10% movement speed boost. But after that, once you hit about towards the end of maybe Act 3, start of Act 1 Cruel, I switched off to a rare. That way I can get some resistances and some added spirit, so that way I could run another defensive modifier, go for some added max life, spirit, and the resistances that you need. For your boots in early game, you're going to want to go with either these Luminous Pace. Whenever you first start out, they're a free 10% movement speed, and once you hit level 11, you can use the Wanderlust Wrapped Sandals. They'll give you 20% movement speed, and you won't be affected by slows. But once you hit around like the end of Act 3, start of Act 1 Cruel, go ahead and pick up your pair of boots with 25% increased movement speed, go for some life regen or some stat increases, max life, max mana, and then fill out the resistances that you need. For the helmet in the early game, I would recommend getting this Ismouth Shabby Hood because it's going to give you 100% increased mana regeneration. This is great for letting you spam all of your abilities with no worry in the beginning. I then just switched to a rare helmet later on. It doesn't really matter when you need to switch, just whenever you're comfortable. I got some resistances, and the crit hit chance is great for getting higher DPS. Go for some max life, max mana. For the belt in the early game, I'd recommend going with like a rawhide belt or something like this. It's going to help you get some bonus elemental resistances. It's going to help you get some damage taken recouped as mana, as you are going to be using a lot of mana if you're using Widow Hail. If not, I switched off to a belt with an additional charm slot, some max life, some resistances, and then some bonus strength. So for rings, I recommend that you go with some that have added lightning damage to attacks, increased lightning damage, max mana, max life per enemy killed, mana per enemy killed, and mana regen. Same for this one over here. I also have some stat increases if you need to get them. You could also fill out some resistances if you need. So for your amulet, if you have it in the early game, even though it's expensive, the Everlasting Gaze is amazing for getting some extra energy shield and some added mana regeneration. Otherwise, you could just go for a normal mana regen amulet. I have some increased stats on here. I have max life, max mana, mana regen. You could also go with projectile skills if you get it, but anything's really fine in this slot. Then lastly, for your flask and charm, it doesn't really matter. The charms, I do like to go with one that has chaos damage. That way I can fill out my chaos resist, and I do like to run the golden charm to get some extra drops. So now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the passive skill tree. With your ascendancy points, when you get your first two, I recommend that you get Tailwind. Tailwind is extremely effective at increasing your movement speed, your attack speed, and your evasion. You get 10 stacks of Tailwind just by attacking. Whenever you attack, you get 1 per stack, so 10 attacks equals 10 Tailwind stacks. Whenever you get hit, it does reset your stack, so try not to get hit. For each stack, you're going to get 1% increased movement speed, 3% increased skill speed, and 15% increased evasion. So that way you'll end up with 10% total move speed, 30% total skill speed, and 150% increased evasion. This is extremely strong in the beginning. It lets you map really fast, and it's extremely effective at increasing your evasion. I use my next two to get the 3% less damage taken per Tailwind, so 30% less damage taken if I do get hit, and an additional 4% skill speed. You could also go for endless munitions for the additional projectile. I just really like being able to move really fast around the map and helps you speedrun the game. I do like to take the path towards projectile damage, get some bonus dex and attack speed. We're going to be shocking a lot, so we want anything with elemental elements. The first skill that I do recommend that you go for is Master Fletchling, and all of the boost in here as increased bonuses gained from your quiver is just going to be increasing your total DPS by a lot. I then like to go this way for some more movement speed and some evasion. And then I like to branch out towards Falcon Technique and the Dexterity boost. We're going to get a ton of attack speed boost from here, and this Dexterity boost is nice for boosting that. I then like to go for Bestial Skin to increase our evasion, and then I go for Enhanced Reflexes to get more dex and evasion. Once you do that, I like to make my way down here to get Catalysis. That way we get some more elemental damage. Same for the two nodes around it. I then dip into Exploit right here for some more damage and duration of Ignite, Shock, and Chill. I then work my way all the way down here so that we get some more elemental damage, chance to shock, chance to build some electrocution. I then do Forces of Nature so we penetrate 15% of elemental resistances. Same thing for the nodes right here. We're penetrating resistances, increased chance to shock, and more elemental penetration. You could either go down here to get increased movement speed and skill speed, or you could work your way up here and get some chance to shock, elemental damage for each type of elemental element on an enemy, or go for Surging Currents for some more penetration on elemental resistances. For the jewels, currently I do have crit damage attack bonus, I have attack speed, damage with bows, elemental damage. And then on this jewel, I have increased lightning damage, chance to shock, projectile damage, ignore the poison, and then additional chance to chain from terrain. So get any jewels that, are boosting your attack speed, your attack damage, projectiles, shock, lightning, anything like that, and you'll be okay. And I'll zoom out for you guys so that way you can see it a bit more in the open. Just also to show, whenever I'm out here in combat, I currently have 86% evasion, and if I do /deaths, I have only died one time the entire time I've played through the game, and I'm currently level 53, so it's been pretty effective at keeping me alive. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys kind of how it plays. I just got into Act 2 Cruel. This is the beginning of Act 1 Cruel, so I'm a little over-leveled here, but I do want to show kind of the effects of what you do to, get the build rolling. So anytime you see a group of enemies, you're going to want to drop your lightning rod, and then you can shoot with the lightning rod and it'll chain lightning. That's going to help you clear out the big groups of enemies. And when you have a boss, I like to pop barrage, drop the arrows on the boss, mark them with Voltaic Mark, and then just spam away, and you'll watch the HP be deleted. So pretty simple gameplay. You could also chain together my electrocution arrow. That way you can build up electrocute on bosses. This will give you an additional stun. And yeah, that's really about it. So anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. I just wanted to showcase the build that I was using to speedrun the campaign. I've been doing this all live on Twitch if you want to come watch me continue to steamroll the Cruel Axe. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. Pay attention to my giveaway. I will be doing that once I do hit 1K. We do have about 540 subs to go, so it'll be a little bit, but once we get closer to hitting our mark, I will put out a date and time, and we'll do the giveaway on my Twitch live. We'll make it a really fun event, and I'm thinking that the amount on the cards is probably going to be anywhere around like $15 to $25, and I'll maybe do like, I don't know, 5 to 10 winners. We'll kind of see how many people comment. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave me a comment, let you know what you thought, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.